What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I wanted to make a video that I actually feel is pretty important and pretty relevant to a lot of the things that we've heard from the developers over the last week or so, which is all to do with the hero system or the Battlepoint system in Battlefront 2. There is a hell of a lot to go through in this video, guys. I have a lot of different thoughts and opinions about this topic, and I will spend a good part of the video providing some context before I actually get into the concepts. I've spent pretty much the last 2 or 3 whole days just making some designs and concepts for stuff that I'll pop up on the screen for you now, and we're going to be looking at a concept for custom star card loadouts, which means you won't have to worry about playing GA and accidentally equipping the wrong cards. And then once I've explained that, I'm going to cover 2 different variants of a hero queue system, which I've actually made essentially a prototype for, just overlaying some images on screen to make it look as if it's actually in the game. I do also just want to say quickly that I'm not at all trying to claim this as if it's my idea and mine only. I've heard hundreds if not thousands of people saying similar ideas, and yeah, I just want to make clear that I'm not trying to claim this as my own or anything like that, because I'm sure everyone has had their own version of this idea at one point or another. Before we get into it, if you guys do end up enjoying the video and the concepts that I'm about to cover, then it would be really appreciated if you could hit that like button and even share it around on Twitter or Reddit and places like that. The more eyes we get on it, the more likely the devs will see it too, and hopefully this video can at least just plant the seed in their minds and hopefully lead to them adding something similar in the future. Now, for those who do have Twitter or Reddit, you may have already seen Dennis's tweets last week, but for those who don't, I will provide a little more context as to why I've actually decided to make this video. Because honestly, I didn't think there was anything wrong with the Battlepoint system, but the devs seemed to think it needed some sort of change. If you have already seen the post, then feel free to skip ahead in the video a little bit, because there is a lot of context that I need to cover before explaining my own concepts. So, a Reddit user by the name of Matt Adam posted on the WARS Battlefront subreddit about his issue with the Battlepoint system, and pretty much went on to explain how even though you earn 4k battle points, you don't always get to play the hero, and therefore you earn the right to pick a hero but don't actually get to. And I will post the whole thing on screen so you guys can see it if you want to pause and read it all. Now, his post did make a lot of sense. I personally don't agree with what he said. I think that first in best dressed is the fairest way to do anything, to be honest. But what he said definitely wasn't wrong either, in that a lot of people do unfortunately miss out on heroes, and he did make some good points in regards to that. Dennis Brandvold, the lead design director for Battlefront 2, then actually replied a couple of times, pretty much saying that he's been thinking about the issue a lot lately and that he agrees it is a problem. Now, he eventually went on to post this in the comments as well, which you can pause if you want to read the whole thing. Essentially, he had the idea where 2 minutes into the game, the first 3 on each team get to become the heroes. Those 6 players get to play as a hero for 2 minutes, at which point they will actually be despawned, and then the next 3 on each team will take their place and get a chance at the heroes. Now, Dennis, I love ya, I really do, but that idea is absolutely terrible in my opinion, and I actually don't know if I could come up with anything worse. Yes, it would be extremely fair in that every person would get to play as the hero. I understand that is the end goal, but what's actually the point if you can only play 2 minutes and then you just get despawned without a choice? What happens if you're one of the few heroes that actually pushes the objectives? You're in there, you're about to take control and help your team take the objective, and oh, hang on, you just disappear into thin air and your team ends up losing because of it. Now, in saying that, I shouldn't focus too much on this idea, because reading the comments, I'd almost guarantee that this will never happen, since literally everyone said it sounded terrible as well. And Dennis did also tweet a few other ideas out there as well, and then also went on to say, big fat disclaimer, nothing is decided and nothing is on a roadmap anywhere. We might do a small change, we might do a big change, or we might not change anything. So I'm not going to focus on any specific idea that they had, but it does seem pretty clear if you saw all the other tweets that they do sound like they want to change things up, and so that's essentially why I wanted to share these ideas, since they are currently talking about it, and it just seems like this is the right time to try and put this video out there. So now that I've given you all some context about why I am making this video, it is time to finally get into the actual concepts. There are 3 things I wanted to cover, one being a menu timer so that people can't just camp in the menu and wait for a hero. 2 being custom card loadouts so that with the timer you do still have plenty of time to organise your class or hero, and 3rd being a hero queue system, or actually 2 different options for a hero queue system in this case, that stops the need for menu camping and gives the entire team a fair order as to who can pick heroes throughout the game. Now, really quickly, because it's not too hard to understand, the menu timer would just be similar to HVV, where you have a certain amount of time to choose your cards, your class, and everything else you need, before you just get automatically spawned into the game with whatever is currently equipped. This would instantly stop menu campers, which some of you might not think is that big of a deal, but when you have a team of 20 and 6 of them are just sitting on the menu spamming the select button, that leaves you with 14 versus 20, and it just completely throws off the balancing. So whether that's something you want or not, I do think that is a very necessary change. Now, with that out of the way, I want to jump into the custom star card loadouts and explain those first, and then we will actually get into the actual hero queue systems at the end, which include an actual in-game breakdown of how they would work. So from the home collection screen, if you were to try and change the cards for Boba Fett, this is the screen that you'd be taken to. However, if they were to move the emotes, voice lines and victory poses into the middle of the screen, there is then some room for 3 custom star card loadouts for you to edit as you please. So let's just say you want to change your cards only for your hero versus villain setup. You'd simply click on the first loadout like normal, and that takes you to the screen with all your cards where you can obviously switch them around. The only change I'd make to this screen would be to show at the top which loadout you're actually editing so that you don't get confused in between switching your cards around. Once you are done with your cards, you would obviously just hit the back button and you'd be back out to the hero menu, and then from here obviously you can do the exact same for both of the other loadouts, all of which save individually. Now, as for in-game, I've switched to Obi-Wan as the Boba Fett ones were just some initial designs, but these ones are actually finished. As you can see, the loadout that is currently equipped is highlighted with the yellow border, and if I was happy with those cards, I'd obviously just spawn in like normal. If you did want to change the cards though, you can see the square icon down below. You'd click that and then you can actually see we're now hovering over the loadouts, with the X button being grayed out since it is already equipped, and obviously you can press square again if you do want to edit the individual cards. Now, I want to equip that second loadout, so obviously I can just press down on the D-pad which hovers over that loadout, then I can press X meaning it is equipped and ready to go, and then I can simply press circle to get out of the card selector and again just spawn in like normal. So that's a pretty simple breakdown of how this loadout system would work. Obviously it's not perfect, I'm sure they could probably make it look a little bit better and work a little bit smoother, but you get the idea. It saves a lot of hassle, and I think pretty much everyone would agree that this would be much easier than the current system, so that we don't accidentally have our HVV cards equipped in GA or anything like that. So that is both the timer and the loadout systems all explained. If you have any questions or anything like that, then definitely let us know down in the comments. But now I do want to get into the most important aspect, which is the hero queue system that I mentioned earlier. I have got 2 variants of the hero queue system that could work, the first one being more of a queue system, whereas the second one is a bit more of a reservation type of system. So this little demonstration is an example of if you were the first or second on your team to get a hero at the start of a game. So let's just say you and one teammate have gone crazy, you've racked up a heap of battle points in no time, and when you do finally get to 4K, you actually get shown on screen that you can choose a hero. You can see that Yoda is grayed out, so obviously your teammate took Yoda first, but you want to spawn in as Obi-Wan anyway, so all you have to do is right click on the D-pad, which is only assigned to the voiceover wheel, which you have to hold down anyway, and once you click that you are taken straight to the menu. You then go to choose your hero as per normal. You can change all your cards around and stuff like I mentioned just before, and you can see above the heroes that there is actually this spawn timer, and when it gets to 0 you will just spawn in as whoever you're hovering over at the time. Once you have changed your cards, you just spawn as per normal, and bang, there you have it. That is one way that this system could work if you are one of the first 2 to get 4K battle points. Now, let's just say you're 5th on the team rather than 1st or 2nd, then obviously you can't choose a hero straight away, and so you do have to enter the queue in order to get one once the others die. Once you do get to 4K, a pop-up says press right on the D-pad to enter the queue, and when you do, it'll move up to the top left corner saying your position in the queue. So as you can see, I'm currently 3rd in the queue, meaning there are 2 heroes in the game, then 2 others waiting for heroes, leaving me to be 3rd person in line. From then, once a hero dies, you'll obviously move up in the queue, and then once you are 1st in the queue, the moment a hero dies, you can then spawn in similar to the last example, giving you 10 seconds to decide if you want to take that hero. Once you do, again, you just go to your character and you spawn like normal. Now, let's just say you're capturing an objective and you can't take the hero without costing your team the objective. It'll just skip you after that 10-second timer, but instead of going into last place in the queue, you pretty much just keep your position as 1st in line, just to avoid frustration of missing out, yet still allowing someone to take that hero after the 10-second option. So both of those examples are one way that I think the hero queue system could work. Again, it's not perfect, but I do think it's a good change, and if DICE were to do something like this, I think they'd obviously be able to refine it and make the HUD elements much cleaner and stuff like that. Now, moving on to the second option for the hero queue. This one is a little more similar to the current system, so some people might prefer it this way. It all just depends on your own preference. Just like normal, you'll get your 4K battle points, and then either you can just respawn, or if it just happens you die, you will obviously go to the menu. Let's just say there are 2 players currently with heroes and then 1 other guy with enough battle points as well as yourself. You can then reserve heroes so that when one dies you get to play them instantly. So you can see Anakin is reserved, meaning the guy in 3rd place already has reserved him for himself. So I might decide to reserve Obi-Wan, and once you simply select him, he will be reserved for you, and then you can just go back and spawn as whichever class you want. At this point, you just continue to play the game as you normally would, knowing that your hero is saved for you, and then once one hero dies, the guy who picked Anakin will get him first, since he did reserve him first, and then once a second hero dies, you will be able to spawn as Obi. Now, once that hero does become available, you'll be shown that pop-up again saying that the hero is available, and again, you have 10 seconds to choose, and then once you hit that D-pad, you will just instantly spawn in as Obi-Wan. Again, pretty similar to the first option, but just a tad closer to the current system, and there are a few flaws in it. For example, what happens when all the heroes are reserved and stuff like that. I haven't thought too much into all those sort of smaller details, but again, if DICE were to implement something like this, then I think they'd surely be able to figure out all the kinks. Now, neither of these systems would completely fix the issue of every single player getting a hero. There's still obviously the chance that you might just miss out on the first hero by a few seconds, and then the first two heroes might survive the whole game, so still only 2 people get to play them, but in my opinion that is just tough luck. The way I see it, if you're the first to a hero, you deserve to get that hero, and if you are a hero and don't get killed, then again you deserve to keep that hero, and it is slightly unfair for everyone else. I do understand that people will still miss out, but at the end of the day, the world isn't perfect, and if someone does better than you do, they deserve to be rewarded first. Now, this is coming from a guy who is so often that 3rd or 4th player who just misses out on a hero and has to play the whole round as a trooper. I get it, it's annoying to miss out on the heroes, I feel the exact same way. But I understand that if someone beats me to a hero, they deserve to be a hero more than I do. To make it a little bit more even, I think they do need to look into 2 small changes in terms of battle points, one being that the officers do need a small nerf to their battle point gain, and second being that objective plays should always be rewarded more battle points, which is already the case to be fair, but I do think it's fair to reward those who actually PTFO and not the guys sitting at the back of the map with a sniper doing absolutely nothing for their team. Once they make battle point gain a little bit more balanced, I think either of these systems would work in the fairest possible way, with the players doing most for their team getting first choice for a hero, and then it filtering down from there in order of who gets the battle points first. The battle point system is such a huge step up from Battlefront 2015 system. It seems fine how it is, other than adding some of the things that I've just mentioned. If DICE is so adamant on changing it, then I do hope that some of them can get their eyes on this video, because I personally think this system, or at least something fairly similar, is the best way to go about it. So that is going to do it for this one, guys. I want to thank you all for sitting through the whole video, as I'm sure it probably wasn't the most entertaining one I've made, but like I said, I do feel like this is the perfect time to release a video like this, and hopefully we can plant the seed in DICE's mind. Like I said, guys, if you did enjoy this video, or if you would just love to see a system like this implemented, then make sure to leave a like on the video, and like I said, if you do have Twitter or Reddit, go and share this around and tag the developers like Ben and Dennis, so that there's more of a chance they might add something down the line. If you are new to the channel, then feel free to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on any more Battlefront 2 videos or live streams. Thank you all so much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.